Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Dating Diaries with Raquel and Brittany. What's going on, ladies?
Woo, well, we're excited to be here. I'm excited to be here. New week, new days. Yeah, I'm just here.
Everybody's back to work. Everybody's doing what they got to be doing.
Yes.
Summer's almost over.
I know.
Yeah.
It was a short summer for me.
Raquel?
And back to work I go.
I know. Yeah, getting back into the swing of things. Actually, I'm having a really good week,
That's awesome.
So,
Well, ladies, we do have a very special guest, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. Go ahead, Allison.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's fun to be here. I'm excited about our chat today. I'm Allison Brenner. My full adult career has been an intersection of psychology and leadership development and human behavior. I have been a industrial organizational psychology consultant for almost 3 decades. And I've also been an executive and life coach for about 18 years. And I'm most recently the founder of Innervue, this human development technology company, where we help people find out what's it like to be on the other side of me.
Oh, very nice.
Thanks for having me.
Well, no, thank you for coming on the show. We do greatly appreciate it. Now, on one of the things you were talking about when we first were communicating, you were discussing how one of our co-hosts here, Brit, was going through some stuff with her dating, and you possibly had some good advice in regards to that.
So I'll just give you a quick breakdown of what happened and maybe I'm a human being. I make errors, and I think so I went on a date with this guy. This was a second date that I went with this guy. The first date, all he did was talk about his ex. Like, it was all about how his ex did him wrong, how he kicked him out, and then and he did tell me at the end of that first date that he was nervous and he hadn't gone on a date in a long time. So I gave him a second chance, and I went with him on a second date. And when he got there, I don't feel like he put effort. He didn't dress up for the date. He was looking very casual, but the place that we went to required us to dress up, but he was super casual. Then as we sat down and order our food, it almost felt like the conversation went back to the same thing about his ex, well, he wasn't even married, but his ex-girlfriend. And then he talked again about the same things that, it didn't work out. And so I got really frustrated because I really put a lot of effort into looking nice. I was really excited about the second date. I'm like, oh, things are going to be different. We really could talk about other things. But then I know I lost it, and I really lashed out and pretty much yelled at him and said, you shouldn't be dating because you're not ready. You're not emotionally available. You're still stuck on your previous relationship. It's not fair for me because you just wasted my time. And the guy was really trying to be nice even afterwards because he even offered to pay for the dinner. He apologized. But at that point, but I really do know I lost it, and I was not interested. So that was where I feel maybe, I don't know, like, why was such a disconnect? Why do you think he might have felt that it was okay for him to talk about his ex? And I don't know, maybe I could have dealt with it different. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Maybe.
Listen, yeah, you should not have to compete with a person who's not even in the room. Right?
Right.
What I have to say, I do hear this. It still surprises me every time, but it is a theme I hear regularly, is that one party or the other shows up to a date and just kind of dumps everything from their last relationship, from, what he, wore, what he ate, how he had sex, what his complaints were, what his wishes were, like just so much, stuff about somebody's ex, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that I actually think what I hear you saying is, when you say I lost it, you're saying, okay, I wasn't as skillful as I would like to have been in conveying to him why I was unhappy. But the fact that you were unhappy isn't the problem, right? Like, the fact that this was not feeling like a match, the guy wasn't there with you. He was right. He was sort of still stuck in the paradigm from his history, and it does kind of indicate that he has some unfinished business. Whether he's, grieving it or venting about it or comparing you or just kind of still organizing his life around that relationship, it does sound as though he hasn't finished grieving the dissolution of that relationship to be able to be present and looking forward. He was kind of not present and stuck in the past.
Right. That's how I felt. Now, thinking about maybe not just me, but other girls that are dating, they're in the same situation. And I really don't, I want to kind of I want to think about what would be a better way to still respect that. I felt bad because I'm like, he's still a person and he still deserves respect regardless of how I felt. Yeah, I was angry, disappointed. And I think I could have handled that different. I just don't know how I could have done that differently. So when I'm reflecting, and I know other girls have been in the same place, and sometimes we react a way that might not be very kind and respectful to another person. What would you recommend? How would we navigate this and still be able to communicate how we feel, but also respect that other person?
Right. So let me just say, talking about an ex occasionally is normal. Being able to share things from your past is reasonable. The issue becomes if the ex comes up a lot, and is the ex actually sort of occupying the emotional space between you? So it sounds like he was bringing past emotional baggage into the relationship between you and he, but it also sounds like maybe you were too, because there was it was emotional for you that he was still stuck on this other person and in the past.
Yeah, it was.
Rather than sort of being able to notice it as just a fact of occurrence that was going on and come from a place of maybe compassion for a person who's wounded or stuck in the past, it triggered something in you, and that might be worth exploring. Was it making you feel invisible? Was it making you I'll just ask you, how did it feel to see that he didn't dress appropriately or that he wasn't asking questions about you? What was the story you were telling yourself in your head?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the story that when I saw him, what I felt or what I was telling myself was, oh, he didn't put any effort, so he's not really that interested in me because he's not putting the effort to impress me, so he doesn't care if I like him or not. When dressed up, I wanted to impress him. I was putting effort because I was interested. And so I guess the story I was telling myself when I saw him was oh, he doesn't care. He's just here for a good time and not really interested in he's not interested in me and getting to know me. And now that I think about it, that's just an assumption that I made based on just what he was wearing. I'm sorry, I laugh because now thinking about it, Let's go ahead, sorry.
No, that's okay. You created a whole story, an interpretation of what him not dressing up meant and took it personally. And I'm going to guess that maybe in your past, you have maybe had some relationships where they did take you for granted, maybe didn't show enough respect or enough interest, and maybe it took you some time to figure that out, and when you figured it out, it stung.
You know what? Yes, that's a lot of what my dating experience has been. Recently it has been a lot of not really sure if they're really interested, finding out that they're not. They're just what we call playing games. And so when that's exactly what I was telling myself when I saw him. And now I really do feel horrible because, at the end you could tell he really was trying. And then I felt like at that point I had already done damage and I didn't know how to backtrack.
It sounds like you also have a standard for yourself that you would like to be dating somebody who can maybe take you to nicer places and, wine and dine and get styled up. And like, that's what you would like for yourself. Would you say?
Yes.
Yeah. And so just, all we have is the future. This might be something that before going on a date, when you're first talking to somebody, maybe you're spending time on the phone or on, video call, where these are kinds of questions you can ask, like, how do you feel about, are you a dressing up kind of person or dressing down kind of person? If you could plan your best vacation, what would that look like? Right? And just asking questions that get curious about the other person so that you can see, does this person really match with my values and my interests, aside from the fact that I find them attractive.
So it's having questions that I could ask to better understand the other person and to be able to see if they align to what I'm looking for.
Yeah. And, it can even be things like, I enjoy getting a little dressed up for dates. It makes the evening feel special to me. How do you feel about that? Right?
Okay.
So are you saying like when you're having those communications before you even have your first date, is that stuff that should be brought up so that way they have that expectation?
I don't think it's a should. I think it's a could.
Okay.
But the bigger word that stood out to me in that question was expectation.
Okay.
That's crucial. Going in with expectations, A, makes you very likely to be disappointed, and B, makes it very likely for the other person to disappoint you in your mind. Because you have an expectation.
So how do you not have expectations? Because I don't know, like, that's hard for me. I do expect, like, there's an expectation when I meet you. There's an expectation for one, that you're putting effort in looking nice. Two, that you are making an effort to plan something and that, the conversation flows well. But, like, how do you go into a date and not have any? Like, that seems really hard.
Well, so some people feel like jeans and a shirt and sneakers are,
That's fancy.
right? Like, for some people, they're in clean clothes. They're not dirty. They're not in cut off shorts or in flip flops, right?
Right.
And so it doesn't make the person wrong or bad because their style is not your style.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, so like I said, a lot of people set up their dating profiles and they put all this stuff about themselves. Should they put those, like, I think that on a first date, if we're going out on an actual date, I would love for you to dress up like this or do something like this. That way they already know what they're getting into when it's time to meet up.
You certainly can, if that's important to you. I think what's valuable is really getting clarity on your own values in terms of a relationship. And I'll say, if you were to do some values work, you may find that what's really most significant to you is like maybe that he's honest, that he's maybe a hard worker, that he, has a good heart, maybe that he is committed to communication and, and relationship basics. Whether or not he puts on a good outfit still might be important to you, but maybe if you kind of made your list of values, you might find that's, I don't know, number 12 on a top 10 list. Now, I don't know. I'm not saying what it should be or could be for you. I'm just saying, like, if you can find somebody who's a match with you in the things that really matter, does he want to get married? Does he want to have children? Is religion important? Whatever it is that's important to you, you can negotiate outfits with somebody that you're in a relationship with and you really think.
True.
And so do you want to diss people? Do you want to disqualify people
over that
because of their clothing on a first date? When he might show up thinking, you know what, I'm really relaxed and comfortable and I'm here to just be authentic and real. And that's not a bad quality.
It's not. So it's really figuring out what's important to me. Like, what are my important values in a relationship? And then looking to, Yeah, because you're right. The clothes. The clothes is not a big deal, but I just felt like I
Well,
don't know. It was just a feeling. It was a feeling, and I think it was the actual story that I was telling myself that was a bigger problem than actually his clothes. And so
And that's what got you upset.
yes, because honestly, if I didn't create that story, I don't think I would have been upset at all. I think it would have been just fine. But because I had already created that story as soon as I saw him, because of my personal background and my own experiences, it's like I almost just set it up for failure in my own eyes.
Yeah. So what would it be like for you putting yourself back at that table to say, how do you feel about dressing up for dates sometimes? What if you said, yeah, I like to do that sometimes. I really enjoy that on holidays or on special occasions, or I don't know. Like, what would that have been like if you would have heard that?
That would have been great. I'm like, okay, those are important events. We should be looking nice.
But can I just ask this? I think a first date is like an interview. You go dressed to impress, you show up, and you try to find out about each other. It seems like the last 3 dates that you had ended up in the same situation where they wanted to talk about their exes. They wanted to talk about how they made them feel, and you became their therapist at that point.
I know. I don't know. Maybe it's something I'm doing or something. I'm the common denominator, right? I'm the one. I'm the common, and this keeps happening where I don't know. Guys keep telling me about very traumatic events in their lives on the first date, or or traumatic relationships, and I'm sitting here like, I'm just trying to have a good time and get to know you, but this is way too much on a first date. It doesn't become a fun way to get to know someone. But I'm trying to analyze and figure out, what is it that I'm asking, or what is it that I'm doing that has the same outcome, because there's 3 different guys, but the outcome is the same, where I had one saying something really dark about his childhood, and I got a little sad and scared, but I was like, I shouldn't be knowing this yet. But you feel comfortable enough to tell me. I don't know how to take that, but obviously I listened, and that was so dark and deep that I didn't yell. I just listened and tried to show that person, empathy. And the second one, it was again about his wife, his ex-wife, and then he had some issues with his sex drive and how it impacted the relationship and his masculinity. And I'm sitting there like, it's the first date. I don't know why you feel the need to tell me that right now, but thank you for sharing. And then I think with this guy, the third guy that I was telling you the story about, he started talking about his ex again and all these things, and I think I had it. I'm like, what in the world am I getting myself into? And I don't know. I'm starting to think it must be me, because I'm doing something, because the outcome is the same every single time I go on these dates. And so,
what is the common theme in your attraction to these 3 people? What's a common theme across them?
There you go.
Oh, I like that they are very grounded. They seem very relaxed, very easygoing. Their energy is low. I don't usually talk to guys that are super hyped up, because I'm hyped up, so it'll be way too much for 2 people. So I really like these 3 guys that I was talking to. They both were very mellow, very calm. They had this very calm energy about them, and then they had beautiful smiles, all 3 of them. So
what percentage of them was made motion to be physical with you at the end of that date?
I'm sorry, ask that question in a different way.
Out of the 3 of them, how many of them wanted to be physical with you at the end of that first date?
So are you talking about intimacy, like kissing and stuff like that, or
2 were the last.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
The last one didn't. I think after I yelled at him, he's like, I don't want to talk to her. But the first 2, yes, and I had to say no, and that was it. But 2 of them did wanted to get really physically. They were getting really touchy.
I would say that. So you're learning something about a pattern. that when they're coming in hot with the here's my trauma story, I hear regularly that is a common denominator of, get the girl to feel badly for me, to have compassion for me, to wrench at their heart, and then they'll sleep with me after. Or woe is me about the difficulty in the sex life, so that the woman that I'm dating now will be like, oh no, you'll see it's going to be so much different with me. And so these are, these oversharers very early that are trying to draw in emotion from you. That's a theme. And there is something here in the pattern. And so when you hear it, this can start to like sort of flip a switch for you to go, oh, here I am again. When I see that early on, you'll now start to notice, I know where this is going. But the other thing I would suspect is that your friends, your family, your colleagues, people around you have some idea what it is that is drawing you to this type of person, and they don't want to tell you directly.
Tell me, raw dog, what it is.
It's you. It's you just doing it, allowing them to spew all their negative energy to you.
Do you think that they're testing her boundaries, like right from the beginning?
It starts before that, because there's something in the chemistry and the dynamic that she's choosing. There's something about these people that seem dynamic, that seem engaging, that seem desirable, that she wants to go out with these people that are, I'll say, at least for the 2 out of 3, are a little bit on the predatory side.
Ooh.
There's something that's hot about that, apparently.
But yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, is there maybe? What is it making me feel? Maybe desired? I don't know.
So what would be a good way when you're putting up these profiles? What would be like a deterrent when you're creating this profile to deter people like that, or is that even possible?
Well, I think that if it's truly sort of depleting for you, if you're not appreciating dating this type of person, then I would suggest perhaps doing a little bit more interviewing before the date. Maybe you talk on the phone, or you have a video call where you're able to ask some questions and about that other person and their likes and dislikes and what they're looking for, and kind of get that sense of whether they're also interested in you. Are they asking to understand what you like and what you are wanting, what your values are? Because if they're not asking those questions, they might not be looking for the same type of relationship that you're looking for. And if they start telling you their sob story and to get you to go out on a date with them, a man who's actually grounded, who's comfortable in his own skin, who's sort of self-assured and confident, not arrogant, but confident, isn't going to load into these very personal stories right away. And they're going to demonstrate that they have their own, not expectations, but parameters that they're looking for too in a person. If he's not asking questions about you, then he's not really concerned whether or not you fit for him long term.
Oh, so looking into if they're asking questions and trying to get to know me would be a good indicator that they're looking for something more. And
maybe first dates that are more like coffee rather than a fancy dinner.
I was saying I hate those, but maybe we're onto something here.
You were right.
Why do you hate them?
So I hate the coffee dates because and here's the story I'm telling myself, okay? So I'm a storyteller to myself. So I feel that this is a way of that when they request a coffee date, is their way of saying, I want to put little effort, I don't want to spend too much, and see where we go. And I was like, but why do you need a coffee? Why can't we just do dinner? That shows more investment. That means you're more interested, and let's go from there.
Well, what are they going to be more interested in when all they know is what you look like?
There it is. There it is.
Well, don't you want to be desired by what you look like? I mean, and also about who you are, but they don't know who you are. So if they're not putting the issue, but based on what they're looking at, then they don't want me.
Well, that's
when you say, what do you got to have coffee for? Don't you want to demonstrate more interest and go have dinner? I'm telling you, you're flagging to them that they have a shot for what comes after dinner.
What, dessert? I mean, depends on what they look like. I'm just joking. No, okay, so. You know what? You're right. I mean, honestly, it's opening up my mind to like, oh, I didn't think about it that way. I didn't see it that way.
Guys who want to go have coffee, they want to know, who are you as a human being? Do I even have anything in common with you? Do I like you? If coffee goes great, I'd love to take you out for a fancy dinner, but you might not have 2 brain cells. All I know is what you look like. Let's go find out.
Okay, because the third guy that I lashed out on, he took me on a coffee date. So I think he truly was trying to get to know me. I just didn't give him the chance.
You did he talk about the ex on the coffee date?
He did talk about the ex the entire time, and it was about I literally was timing it. It was an hour and 30 minutes. And so I said, you know what, I gotta go. I'm really busy, but thanks for the coffee. And he was really nice. I mean, he was like trying to pay, and he really like, but he asked some questions about me, but then I don't know how we ended up back. Like every time there was a question, he brought back the ex. And then on the second date, it almost started the same way, and then I was just like, I can't do an hour and 30 minutes of this.
An hour and 30 minutes is too long to spend in the past.
Yes.
Whatever the past is. I don't care if it's your dead dog or your best friend when you were 11. It's an hour and a half is too long to spend in the past. And so I would say after, maybe 3 comments about the ex or anything else in the past, you can say, okay, time out. From this point forward on this date, we're only going to talk about the present and the future. No more past.
Ooh, yeah, you're right. I think I'm looking at coffee dates differently, setting up boundaries when people talk about things that I don't feel comfortable with.
And setting up expectations. And on that note,
That's
we do...
why dating is rough.
Yeah.
Very much so.
So at this point, let's go ahead and wrap it up. Allison Brenner, thank you for being on the show. Could you go ahead and give us your website where we can go ahead and contact you or visit what you do?
Yeah, sure. You can go to yourinnervue.com. It's yourinnervue.com. And there people can sign up to take an interview assessment where they fill out a little bit about themselves, and then they invite people from their whole sphere, their friends, their family, their colleagues, their mentors, maybe the people they play pickleball with. They might even invite their exes to give anonymous, confidential feedback about how they show up, to help people see maybe what are their hidden strengths and areas where they're more than they give themselves credit for, and what are some of their blind spots that maybe get in their way and they're not aware of it. So your listeners can go to yourinnervue.com and check it out.
Absolutely. We'll also have that link on
page for daters.
We'll go ahead and have that also on our summary, guys, so you guys can get that website. And Allison, thank you so much for being on the show. We greatly do appreciate it. From Dating Diaries and Raquel and Brittany, thank you for being on Dating Diaries.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been super fun, you guys. Good luck with the dating.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.